It's a beautiful day. Sky falls, you feel like it's a beautiful day. So let it get away on the road. But you've got no destination, you're in the mud.
Please help me in welcoming our first guest from Remax Prosperity, Scott Gibson. Scott, good to see you. So tell me, I understand you do a yearly Grand Canyon hiking trip.
Yeah, actually, so this is going to be our third annual, and we were fortunate enough, actually, this is a residual effect of our first trip up to the canyon. So it was an opportunity to get realtors and people in the industry and some friends to all get off the couch, get from behind the desk, and go up to the canyon.
So how many are going this year?
This year we have 26 people have confirmed hotel reservations, so that's always a big gauge.
And it started with how many the first year?
We had 6.
It's growing.
It's growing. Slowly but surely it's growing. And we have a further distance now, whereas before the longest distance was 5 miles, which you participated in. So now we actually go out to Plateau Point, and it ends up being closer to 13 miles round trip. So it's a half marathon, with the last half being the strenuous part.
A little too long for me. All right, let's jump right into it. Last week, Moody's downgraded us. A couple weeks prior, Standard & Poor's downgraded us. What does it mean for the U.S. economy that Moody's has now downgraded us, and how is that going to progress?
Well, there's a couple of points to look at. So there's 3 credit rating agencies. Standard & Poor's really, they hit us mostly because of the ineffectiveness of the administration and Congress to work together. Anytime in a developing economy, when the government cannot function, it does affect how business happens. And I think for them, in their official press release, they cited the inability of the administration and Congress to work together as their primary reason. With the most recent downgrade, I think that's cause and effect. There's a lot of countries that have that AAA rating that shouldn't have it. A lot of European companies, Mediterranean companies, Greece had a similar rating. Spain has a similar rating. These are countries that are in a worse economic forecasting position than the United States. So they can't have every country have this rating. They had to start somewhere.
So those countries have similar ratings to us, are in worse economic shape. Are we heading in that direction?
I don't think that this country is going to not be prepared for the condition it's in. And finishing that thought, they couldn't downgrade those other countries without looking at the United States. So they've started downgrading those countries. They're getting worse ratings than what we are. And I truly believe that we are in a double-dip recession. That is not a proven fact, because until we're in it for a couple of cycles, they can't declare it. I also think that our economy was prepared for a double-dip recession. So this isn't new.
What do you mean by prepared for?
In other words, take Arizona, for example. Arizona has very few industrial bases. So when we were hit with the overall economic of the country, it was in our housing sector. But overall, our job, we didn't lose that many more jobs. We only dropped a point and a half, maybe 2 points to where we are now. That didn't affect us. We're a small business economy here in the state. So I think overall, the United States was prepared for a double-dip economy.
How do you see the housing and the recession? Do you think housing will help us get out of the recession? Do you think the recession will happen and housing will recover more slowly? From this point forward, how do you see it going forward?
Well, the Wall Street Journal had an article within the last week that was a direct result of that question. And historically, the United States has pulled itself out of every recession by using housing. One of the reasons why we have the housing crisis we have now is because we were coming out of the recession earlier in the decade. And so that is a direct result of or a activity that we use to get out of it. We don't have that luxury now. Housing is not going to save us from this recession. That's a good and a bad thing. Like any other cause and effect, you need to get off of that crutch. And using housing as a crutch for the last 50 years, I think is good for us. I think more people will be able to buy homes as a result of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Scott Gibson, the man reads The Economist for pleasure. He knows what he's talking about. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you very much.
All right, it's time for our next segment of the show called Did You See That? And what we did is we went onto the MLS in Phoenix and found 3 properties priced over $1 million, and to see if properties were selling and how many photos they had. Surprisingly, the first house has been on the market for 1,448 days with only 1 photo. You see that? One photo. The next property, priced at $1.2 million. Still not under contract, has 2 photos on the outside. And then we found a third property with 3 photos, all on the outside, priced at, again, $1.2 million. So, did you see that? Ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking to have your property marketed by a professional realtor, give RE/MAX Renaissance a call today, 623-486-5700, 623-486-5700, and our agents will take good care of you. Next week's show, we're going to have a segment called Thank You Notes from reminiscent of Brian Buffini, and our guest will be Todd Bookspan from Cobalt Morgan. Until next week, here's to new beginnings. Thank you.